I got some very, very much needed rest last night. Uh, but it's been a really exciting period. I'll tell you a lot more about it in the telling. But yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling excited and anxious, and lots of opportunities and new ways of thinking are definitely coming into being.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah, so when you do submit to the telling, Trish, definitely try to time it between, well, you'd have like one more opportunity. Um, because just as a refresher, I take time out to listen to those submissions, and then I use that content, if you will, to
Hmm.
refine and adapt the aura each week.
Hmm.
So, I mean, it's helpful either way, but that's kind of the main function of it.
Right. Hmm.
Um, and so I could definitely, take your submission and apply it to the last, or as in our final week's aura for
Right.
sure.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Yay, here we are again.
So you're back at home now, Nayoka?
I am after 2 weeks.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad you got to see Q. Those pictures made my heart so happy.
Yes, that was literally a dream come true. Yes, a highlight of the trip, obviously. Hmm.
Obviously.
Yes, so that is something I would like to do for just a few minutes, is just, as per usual, check in and see how everybody has been doing. We kind of might want to sequester the time frame to like the past week. I know it's been a minute since we've all met up. Um, but how are we feeling today slash this past week, gang?
I want to
Excited.
say, oh, go ahead.
Oh, God.
Oh, I just go ahead.
Yeah, I'm also eating. Um, um, it's been good. It's been interesting. I'm traveling. Um, last week, so I'm in Greece right now. I got here like about 10 days, or I guess like 7 days ago. Um, so to like be out of my routine, especially like not just like traveling the way I'm used to. I was like here for someone's birthday and like a whole thing, and we had a whole trip, and the trip didn't go as planned because it literally, they had a storm. They haven't seen anything like it in like 300 years or
Oh,
something like
wow.
that.
Dang.
Oh
So
my
I was
God.
trapped on a boat for 3 days.
Oh my God, it's like my worst fucking fear, dude. That's
Go anywhere.
insane. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
So the first 2 days were really good. The first 2 days were so much fun. We like sailed around and like did the itinerary. And then day 3, it rained. We're like, okay, fine. Day 2, they were like, no, they literally will not let any of these boats leave. Like, we all have to stay here. And it was like one of those kind of islands you go for like a day. Like, that's it. And we
Oh
spent
God.
3 days there.
Mm.
But it was good because like everybody made the best of it. But it was not the trip anybody expected. Clearly, we had this whole like,
Also, those Mercury retrograde trips.
yeah,
Yeah.
so there's that. But it was good. I met some new people, made some new friends. Well, we'll see. I think I'm friends. And yeah, so I did the telling, and I have to admit I was a little like like it just felt like um I still feel like myself. That just made me realize it's like a different version of myself, very like even energy wise. But today was the first day I've been alone because the group had been here and we teetered off, and I'm still here until I start traveling tomorrow. And so today I like woke up late, rolled around, journaled, like I went to a museum. I like did more of like my, not that I couldn't have done my thing before, but it's nice to do that. Like I really did want to spend time with everybody. So it was interesting to like feel myself, feel like, oh, like today feels so great, and kind of have more of those like introspective moments, which are a bit harder when you're in a group of people. At least for me, it's harder. But overall, like, yeah,
Yeah.
I think up and good.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I've had a lot of creative energy, which feels so, so good, but also definitely requires a lot of rest for me. So I've just been trying to honor that as best as I can. Um, oh gosh, I can't tell you, just like so many things that have been coming into mind is just like, that's so obvious. Or like, why didn't you think of that before? But like, I guess it wasn't the right time, you know? Which is really interesting in the context of the Wonder Years and knowing that this was my year of like planning and all of that. And now I feel like I'm ready to start making those movements to bring it into actualization in, the next few months.
You're in a 4-year?
2 year.
You're in a
So next year will
2-year.
be 3. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So really exciting stuff. There's also, I mean, Venus retrograde, like my love life has been insane, which been trying to focus on myself, but there are like two big things that are not something that I can let idly stand by. But it has provided a lot of inspiration and movement as well. So that's exciting.
2-year is a lot about partnership as well. People tend
Really?
to,
Huh.
yeah, too.
Huh.
Think about it.
I mean, yeah, I'm
It's
like, that
very
makes sense.
literal.
That makes sense. Yeah, yeah. And I
Yeah.
have like 22 on my arm, like balance,
Oh, that's
harmony,
really nice.
all of that. Yeah. It's a
Yeah,
lot.
it's a lot.
Um, yeah, I mean, I've been like writing, I've been creating new art. Um, yeah, it feels really good. And some stuff that I'm like excited to sell, starting to make some like asks, I suppose. Introduce ideas and concepts to people, and yeah, we'll see. So something that came up today was I've been wanting to make like custom headboards for a while, and
Wow, that's awesome.
it's like, you should like market these to like newlyweds and like do something with the two of their energies combined. And I was like, that's fucking brilliant.
Oh
Like,
my
let's,
God, in a 2-year
yeah.
too, like, and then you're
Mhm.
moving into a 3-year, which is the most creative
Mhm.
year. Um,
Fucking
and
perfect.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's really
So
nice.
I don't know how much to say here, but what's been on my mind recently and what I'm trying to make happen within the next few months is actually making a move to Morocco for a while so I can study art and focus on healing. And it sits so, so right in my bones, everything about it. And then, yeah, going to Dubai after that, hopefully. And things just keep like lining up. Like, oh, hey, you can stay with my family in Morocco. Oh, hey, like there's this opportunity. Oh, I've been thinking about going to Morocco to study art myself. Like, we should go together. I'm like, yes, fuck yes. Like, I'm in. Let's do it. So, yeah, so now I'm in kind of like the logistical phase of like, sorting through stuff, like what I need to sell, what I need to donate, just figuring out the finances and how I'm gonna get money for it, and like selling some pieces to get out of debt and making yeah, some other creative ideas for money are coming to me. So
That's incredible. That's an
yeah.
incredible proposition, and it's wild
Hmm.
that so many things have shaped up
Yeah.
around it.
Hmm.
Wow, lots of
I know.
travel. Lots of travel. I's traveling, Raina's traveling, but tell us something we don't know, Raina. I'm
My
just picking on you. Um, Q, boo boo. What's new
Hi,
with you? Hi.
I am this past week has been not really much to report other than working on my my workshop, the Venerable Art of Repair. You are a huge inspiration for this. And I'm enjoying that process. Just getting back into the swing of things. It's been a while. I've taken like maybe over a year off on doing that kind of work. So it's interesting coming back in, and with this new sensitivity that I've uncovered working with you individually, like re-immersing myself into it, really picking up on just old tendencies, and kind of it feeling more like a foreign object than something I'm used to, even though it feels familiar. So that's cool. But other than that, just kind of laying low. Not much to report other than that.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would be a fuchsia or magenta, but whatever it is one of your colors. Like it looks
Yes.
so good
Somebody
on
else
you.
told me that.
Yeah.
This is like day 3 of wearing this shirt, by the way.
Well, it's working. So
So
like
I
it's
told me that like
really
today, like, oh
nice.
my God, I like that color. I guess I'm just rolling with it the whole weekend.
It's
Anyway,
really, really pretty. I could see
thank
even
you.
like a lip shade of that
Oh
color
yeah,
too.
I pops with that. Yeah,
Yes.
thank you.
Wonderful. Well, I'm doing well. I'm glad to be home, at least for the minute. Our big move is approaching. When we returned home about 15 minutes later, I realized I left my laptop 300 miles away at a B&B.
No.
Yeah, my $2,500 laptop, my baby. And it was an ordeal. I ended up having to call the police, but they came through, Officer Bradley, and it'll be here tomorrow. Thank God. Yeah, I'm trying. It's been, my child is somehow like 30% older as of like probably 10 minutes ago. Somehow she is just like, yeah, it was also one of my personal fucking nightmares, right? And it was like as soon as I got home, like, and then Stanley's like, yo, your laptop is not here. And I was like, oh my God. I'm on his laptop right now, thank God. But anyway, yes. I've also just been laying low myself. I've been participating more in some of my film groups that I like to frequent online, having discussions about film and watching some new films that have escaped me over the years, which has been nice. And I'm finishing up a book, this novel I've been reading, so I can reread our book club selection in Delicacy. I don't know if anyone started that yet, but I think you guys will really enjoy it. It's, if you like introspection, it's an introspective week or read. And as you know, because at this point, all you guys will be there preparing for this writing seminar / workshop, of which there is merch for the first time. I foot the bill for some damn merch, and it is so cool. I've enjoyed walking to the coffee shop with my little Le Reneveux bag. there's also going to be an opportunity to purchase a hardback matte journal with the little graphic on it too. So that's been really swanky to like look forward to in the mail. So that's moi. No complaints really, aside from the laptop situation. Yes. Okay, I am going to pop this question because now it tickles me. Does anyone know what today's class is about? No.
Hell no.
It's not a requirement to know, but now it's just really funny to me. It's not a requirement. Oh. So the title of this is The Hidden Hippodrome on Psychic Perception. And so, as I've hinted the past couple of classes, and as you might have noticed, the lecture portions have gotten a wee dram shorter. But you'll really see that these last two classes, because this is really, to me, an opportunity to create more space to engage with how you've been engaging with all of this information and material that we've covered in months now. I'm here to tell you. And also to sort of locate through your guys' willingness to share these last two classes, locate where I might place more emphasis, not just in the aura, but also more emphasis in especially the final class, which is kind of it's a surprise element to it, but it's a lot more like a gift than a lecture proper. So all that to say is that this is going to be the shortest lecture yet. Q and Raina, you were there for intro to intuition, and then Trish, I know you own the copies of the replays, and so if you really want a bit of a deeper dive on psychic perception, you know where to find it. But the context of our talk today, as it relates to psychic perception and intuition, is more connected and contained within the context of multidimensional living. Okay, so we're really going to be staying on the baseline of everyday sensitivity and not going too deep into anthroposophy today. We're gonna basically really make that pass through the more narrower regions of what it means to work together for a long time, a longish time, and make it more real. And so after I say my spiel and stir the pot and give us things to think about, I want to take a beat, to let you digest it. And then I would love for us to have a communal conversation about how I can potentially help you make these things more real now in your lives, and what with specificity is happening in your life that you have a sneaking suspicion some more intuitively derived direction with whatever it is that's happening in your life could really help you make it a reality. So that's the plan. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Awesome. Alrighty. So again, in the context of multidimensionality, multidimensional living, what I want to discuss with you today is about expanding your perception and what you're capable of perceiving in your day-to-day life. Then we can talk about merging or harmonizing this information with what would be helpful for your own development and expansion. That's where the conversation comes in. So as you know now, psychic data is subtle. It is very subtle. If you're particularly curious as to a refresher on why that is so, you can ask that, though that might be best suited for a Telegram submission because it kind of is outside the parameters of where we're going today. But suffice it to say, psychic information is very subtle. Unless you are very, very well established and graduated on the path of initiation, where these things become very direct and intense and not at all subtle and very real, they are subtle. So what this means is that we have to constantly, or at the very least regularly, remind ourselves of this fact and a few other facts, which I'm about to state, but also constantly, if not regularly, engage with this subtle realm, right? See, human beings are a bit like fish who are living within a body of water, we'll call it the ocean, but who are not aware that they're fish. Here's what I mean by that. There is psychic information. There are beings that are continuously surrounding and passing through us at all times, regardless of whether or not you believe this is true. It doesn't matter. So, the first step, which is essentially a step that you'll be repeating ad infinitum as a prerequisite to any next steps that you take, is to constantly make a point to remind yourself that there is more happening than what you can see and what you can perceive without any other intention than your baseline operation of consciousness. So that's order number one. I am going to give you a list of things that, utilizing your ability to perceive psychic information, i.e., use your intuition, can help you with on an everyday basis. And if you'd like, as was my intention, you can use this list to leverage the conversation through the context of your own experience. And so the list is as follows. Psychic perception can assist you with shopping or the acquisition of items, selection of media, prioritization of tasks, reading locations and people around you, choosing situations and environments, and what and how much to eat and drink.
Can you just repeat those again really quickly?
I sure can. So we have shopping, or the acquisition of items, how you go about it, selecting and acquiring the items that you caretake, the selection of media that you consume in any form, the prioritization of tasks, reading locations and people around you, choosing situations and environments, and what and how much to eat and to drink. So these things, when people think of psychic ability, I think that I know, rather, that there is this immediate, very common immediate clicking over to, oh, to be psychic, I could tell the future. I could, glittering generalizations that are ballooned with all this unnecessary fanfare. But these things that I just listed right here, you know what they all have in common? There is a fairly good chance that these are things that you do on a regular basis, right? And so if you remember an intro to intuition, if psychic means more, right? If psychic means more, then logically it would follow that if you are performing these things on these lists, if you're engaging in the activities and the decisions and things that are required within the context of these things on this list, and electing not to have your intuition be consciously involved, that equals you missing out. Which is why I'm here to tell you this shite. Because what we're looking for here, the whole point, the more that you're missing out on, is summarized in one word: precision. That is what is at stake if you omit consciously utilizing your intuition in your everyday life. That is the goal: precision. So what I mean by that is, do you want the things that you buy, the food that you eat, the things that you watch, the things that you listen to, the things that you read, the environments you find yourself in, the people that you are around, the tasks that you prioritize and the order of them, Yep, I think that's all of it. Do you want all of these things to be a guesstimate or roughly satisfactory or in harmony with what you actually need where you sit in your life at this moment? Or would you rather them be as close as possible to precisely what you would prefer? Because I'm here to tell you that there's only one way to obtain that, and that is through intuition. The other way is through your mind. And so for the sake of this analogy, I'm going to liken, and there is undeniably truth within this analogy, I'm going to liken intuition to the heart, because that's the truth of the matter. So essentially, you have a choice between relying mostly or exclusively upon your mind or your heart to make decisions about things on this list every day. Here's the difference. Your mind can only provide you with information that is in reference to the past. That's it. Your mind cannot give you information about the present or the future that is not based on the past. It's incapable of that. Your heart, however, can give you new information about the present, because the heart does not reference the past. It references the present. So, I'll let that sink in for just a second. Have you ever encountered someone in your life who just can't or won't seemingly evolve? They just keep kind of going with the motions, trucking along just like they have been for a long, long time, right? There's those people. We all know them, right? We all love them. I guarantee you, you know one that you love. Then we got another spicy little category of people who they fit that bill, but there's something a little bit different about them. They want to change. They even tell you that they want to change, right? They tell you that they want to do new things. They want to have new experiences. They want to date new people, new kinds of people. They don't want to keep doing the same thing that they've been doing. But for some reason, it's all talk. And you don't really see much change. So what the fuck's going on there, right? They want to change. Well, this is the point I'm trying to make about the mind. See all these little everyday moments and decisions that seem so mundane and inconsequential. Where we go, how we shop, what we eat, what we buy, what we watch, what we plan. If you just use your mind, you ain't gonna change. You might, but it'll be two things. It'll be exponentially slower, and it won't be as precisely in the new direction that you want to go. It'll still be tinged with what you're trying to leave if you only use your mind to make decisions. That's the rule. That's the way things go down here. So you can look at it like this. If we have the past, you can think of that like the most dense expression of time, right? And then we have the present, and it's a little less dense, a little more malleable. And then we have the future, which is the least dense of all. And only one of these between the past and the present is the gateway to a future that is more and more. You can track it, you can see it, you can feel it, precise to what it is that you truly want. And that is the present. That is the only gateway to the future. That's it. You can use your heart to sense into the future and be, to a certain degree, correct. If you use your mind only, have you ever noticed how you're never right? Every time you use just your mind to think about how something is going to go, it don't go that way, does it? Never does. And if it does go similarly to the way that you thought it would, it's because there is a point or a quality of what happened that is a recapitulation of something that happened in the past. That's the only jurisdiction that your mind has. That's it. So, in the hopes that I've really, hammered on that enough, going back to the practicality. All right, so that sounds great. No, good, but how do we do it? So you got to pay more attention. So moving into, so how do I use my heart, my intuition more in my everyday life? Move in there. One thing, you got to pay way, way, way more attention. I'm talking about exponentially more attention, and you can do it gradually, right? To quality, the quality of things. And we'll get into some real, concrete examples of this, but you gotta pay attention to the quality, baby, because that's where the psychic information resides. It's in the quality, right? And within the context of this conversation, which is about multidimensional living and you as a multidimensional being, it's not just the quality and that's it, kaput. It's the qualities that are harmonious to you in that moment, right? Okay. Again, what we are ultimately going for is precision, right? And the only way to get there is the present. There's a reason why you look in any spiritual text, you get a globe and you point to any part of the world. Everybody is talking about the now. Well, that's part of why. So, another aspect of multidimensional living, or expanding your perception, broadening your horizons, no matter how mundane a day you're having. Oh, it's just a regular day, right? Is it ever? That's the question I'm essentially asking you for 9 weeks. is this. There is a universal law called the law of mirroring. And we also touched on this in Intro to Intuition when we learned that we can only perceive that which we are, right? So, okay, wait a minute. If we're talking about precision, and we're talking about making sure that the things that we select and the ometer that we use when we're making our selection, we're talking about those things being precise and in alignment and in harmony with where we are in the moment, then that would mean that there has to be a likeness. There has to be a mirroring, a resonance in everything that comes into our awareness, right? But here is the thing. Your mind cannot supply you with that likeness or that relationship between you and anything that you see and anyone around you. Your mind cannot tell you how you are related. Your mind cannot give you detail about what is happening with this mirroring process. It cannot reveal that to you. Only your intuition can. Only your heart thinking, which is another way to look at intuition. For the heart to have thoughts. That's the only thing that can tell you that. So, the most simple steps, and they all happen in unison. When you are going through your day, you're faced with a decision, you're out at the mall, you're at the grocery store, you're at home, I want a snack. I feel like watching Netflix. What should I watch? Should I go to this coffee shop or that coffee shop? Should I strike up a conversation with this person or that person? Here is what I am proposing you do. Here's how you get your intuition involved. It's 3 steps, but they all act in unison. And I tell you what, right now, it takes practice. You've got to use it often. You've got to. There is no other way. It is a trifecta of an openness, an open space in your mind. Give you an example alongside me demonstrating these steps. Let's say you're at a coffee shop and you pick one person in the room to practice. And you say, I want to read this person intuitively. Okay. So you have an openness, an open space, spaciousness in the mind, especially. You have, I'm deciding if I want to use the words that I wrote 8 weeks ago, y'all. I'm a different person now. It's all the same, but I'm precise with my words. So, spaciousness. Then direction of attention, naturally, and light focus. And it is instantaneous. You cannot force or will this information to come to you. Ooh, it won't. It won't. It will not happen. You cannot go, like you can't force it to come in. You have to be relaxed. It's got to be as normal as everything else. You're just directing your attention on that person, lightly focusing on them, and allowing space, noticing. It is that simple. You want to know why it's that simple? Because you've had this ability longer than you've had a fucking physical body. So, if it seems oversimplified, I don't know. You tell me how to flip someone the bird, like exactly how to do that and which fingers to move and all that. And I bet you anything it'll be more complicated than this process. Like many things I have shared with you over this time we've spent together, you must try it for yourself. Do not take my word for it. You must try this for yourself. You try it for yourself, you might come up with a better way to describe those 3 steps. And if you do and you want to tell me, I promise I'll give you credit for it. But you have to try it for yourself. And you have to do it often. If you are sold on this idea of, I cringe at this word, but organic, real, tangible expansion of multidimensional perception and living in your life, you've got to bring these things into your most everyday, regular activities. Why in the world would anybody think that something would work or touch you so deeply or transform you or your life if it was separate from the way that you most often spend your time? That's inane and incorrect. Okay? So, use it often. Remind yourself often. There is no such thing as a purely simple, ordinary day unless that is what you want. And it behooves you to want that a good bit of the time. We are here in the earth, right? But we're also here completely descended in the most material form in the universe. Go us. No, that's a good thing. So that we can spiritualize matter. Okay? So use it often. Remind yourself often you have the choice. You have the choice. And over time, here's the thing. Here's what happens. The more that you consciously involve your intuition in your everyday choices and activities, the more it'll become second nature, and the more, like we talked about 50 fucking million years ago now, the more that these things will start happening. You be at the right place at the right time, and you say the right thing, and you meet the right person, and oh, ain't that great, and this thing just came in, and boy, that was easy, and that stuff happens. That's one of the first natural consequences of that, because you're bringing more precision, right, into your experience. But another thing that starts happening is that I could go on a fucking list, you guys. Your energy regulates, without you needing to alter your diet. Not advocating against making dietary changes if that's necessary. A lot of times that's incumbent in it. But I'm just saying, as a baseline, because you are not expending all of this energy mentally to try to make all these decisions, when you start knowing things instantaneously, without thinking, when things just start being presented to you, that's what it feels like. I don't remember the last time that I lived a day and I did not feel, at least once, that something that I wanted, whether it was small scale or big scale, was not presented to me in my life, whether I left my house or not. whether I got out of my pajamas or not. This is how important this is. This is how important this is. It's important to your health. Because stress will kill you. Okay? So, another thing just to drive this point home, just going to drive it home real quick. People who live in the mind, they just live there, all right? They are essentially stuck in the past. They are referencing the past more than anything else, right? Then people who live in the future, they're always thinking about what's next, what's next, what's next. They're not really living in the future. It's just another flavor of living in the mind. Both are not here, not being present. Okay, they're like, what's going to happen next? Or da, 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 right? Okay. In the mind. What do they have in common? What do these people have in common? This might sound harsh, but I want it to, because I want this to be, I want to be blunt about this. I really do, because now's the time. They oftentimes have a lack of will, right? They oftentimes have a lack of follow through. They say, think, they don't do, right? They don't finish the job. They have a lack of precision. They got a lot of things and people in their life that are, but they're not very satisfied on that little, like, I am not satisfied, rarely satisfied. They're like sometimes satisfied, right? With the constituents of their life. A lack of harmony. There's usually a lot of discord. Sometimes there's a lot of drama. You know, things just being kind of cacophonous, however that manifests in all the different ways, whether it's in their health or their relationships or their job or their money or their energy, whatever. And finally, a lack of vitality, which is why I'm saying this is not just some yeehaw thing that might be cool. This is literally vital to a human being's health. And the reality is we live in a time where lots of people are realizing this, but also lots of people are not. And regardless of that, despite that, in light of that, it doesn't diminish how true and how vital this is to a human being's optimal health and vitality. Yes. Oh, exciting. Someone raised their hand. Yes.
Yeah.
Trish.
So I was just thinking it was interesting that you said lack of will, given what we talked about a few weeks before about will not necessarily being like that push and that forceful energy. Could you just talk about that a little bit more?
Talk about lack of will in the context of people who are living mostly in their mind.
Yeah.
Yes.
And just in the context of like all of this, like lack of follow through and whatnot.
Right. And so also, and you're saying too, in the context of the class we did on will, in which I said, it's a destructive force. It's not a generative force.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's a really good question, as usual. Well, one thing, it's kind of ironic because I talk about precision. I keep hammering on that. But the thing, and I really can't overstate that enough. Like it's kind of my slogan at this point, that precision is the new spirituality. And I say that cheekily, and bear with me, it's a lot of preface, but I will answer your question. but that is actually, according to classical esoterica and mystics, over the ages, where we are in our cycle of evolution. Precision is actually a fantastic word, a la English, to describe what we're actually striving towards. And so, but let me expand what I mean by precision a little bit so that the will makes more sense with that. So think about precision, and also being synonymous with harmony, is if something is precise, there is an implication that it has almost none to no undesirable qualities. Okay? Or almost to none discordant or unlike or antithetical or diminishing. When something is precise, it is, in other words, perfect. It's perfect. So we'll work backwards to this lecture, referencing the lecture on the will and how it's actually a destructive force. When a person is living and operating too much through the mental faculties, through the mind, there is no way that they can precisely, for example, extricate, move, release, exfoliate, clarify, let go of the things that are necessary for their will to actually perform at an optimal degree, right? There is a high probability that there are a good amount of things in that person's inner and outer experience that are diminishing the will and diminishing the harmony of that person's true desire for expression, through desire for development spiritually, even mentally. Because if you're constantly referencing the past or projections of the future, which are in reference to the past, can you really make sound choices about what you align yourself with most often every day? The further that you are into the past and your projections of the future, the further you are from reality and the acceptance of things as they are. And that is what is a requirement for the human being's will to even function. In order to utilize your free will, essentially, you have to be on the spectrum of accepting reality. For example, that's why people who are in a constant state of psychosis they're not free-willed human beings. They might be on the streets or they might be in an asylum, but they ain't doing what they want to do because they have lost their ability to accept reality. And we all are somewhere at any given moment on that spectrum. But the closest or more precise position that you can be to reality, to truth, to acceptance of what is in the present and through the heart. Right? And so moving over to today, that's why, lack of will, lack of follow through, and then lack of harmony. I keep, going back to that. Have you ever tried to ever tried to redecorate your house? Or have you ever tried to, like, you go grocery shopping and you buy a bunch of new food and then you come home but you haven't cleaned out your fridge? You know how difficult it is to like put a bunch of new shit in a fridge that you haven't cleaned out? You ever tried to, you know, redecorate your house or like add some new furnishings without actually like cleaning your house?
I
Becomes
really
really
don't
difficult.
appreciate you calling me out right now. Thank you.
You know, just real human things. You know, it's the same with dreams and goals and aspirations. Like a lot of these people, it's not that they don't really want these things, but they are not standing, so to speak. They're not in a position to trust themselves to make decision about how to clarify what's going on in and outside of them in order to make these things real, in order to make changes. They will start, it will be so discordant and so hard that a lot of times they don't make it to the next step. They can't sustain it. It's too hard. Or it causes too much stress. Or, you know, it triggers something else that is not resonant with it that needs to be dealt with. So now they have to divert their attention from that and deal with that, you know? Is this all kind of like
Oh yeah.
coming together sort of situation?
Yeah, very much. Yeah, thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Actually, fantastic timing, Trish, because that's essentially the end of my spiel. So that's that should be enough. Let's like I said, I'm gonna use the restroom. I don't know how to not raise your hand anymore. Just hanging out. But yeah, let's take a beat.
She has to do it.
Oh yeah, there we go.
There you go.
Perfect. Yeah, I was like, you know, someone's hand. Yeah, all right. I'll be right back. I'm not usually in this room, so I'm like used to my desk, and so I keep reaching and like almost knocking things like almost, oh my god, if I knocked over this water on Stanley's laptop, it'd be the end. I'd die. So, you know, we'd have to just
Laptop killer.
yeah. You know, as all this is stewing and whatnot, I just want to say that, you know, you can like like, for example, like you did, Trish, like there's so much more detail I could give to any one of these things. And I left it, not like a fucking hour and 15-minute long lecture intentionally because I want us to talk. But, if anything is not as clear or as detailed as you would like it to be, please, use that or jump right into your own life experience, whatever you want. Just trying to help you get the gears going if you'd like.
So yeah, what you were talking about, like just with intuition and how to get it involved with the openness, direction of attention, and light focus. I feel like it's so interesting because I always come to these lectures and I'm like, oh fuck, like I have just been doing that, like starting to do it on my own and feeling it. And yeah, it's been really amazing. Like some of the people that have come into my life recently, and like the other day, I just had one of those moments where I was just kind of drawn to this one person and we started a conversation and now we're like good friends. She's going to yoga with me. Like it's great. But yeah, also just people that are kind of like supportive and helpful on my path. Like one of these men is actually helping me find art grants and he works at a gallery and like things are just kind of flowing from there. But it was just one of those like intuitive, like I need to get to know that person. And yeah, that's all I have to say right now.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, well, it reminds me of Q and I got to have a session in person when I was visiting Colombia. And at the end, do you remember like our inside joke? It was like hashtag no effort or like what was it? Wasn't that right?
Yeah, hashtag no effort.
Yeah, hashtag no effort. Like that is
Yeah,
a
yeah.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
That is a thing. Capital T.
Love it.
Team. Yes. Yes. Effort is optional, you guys. Effort is not a requirement in life.
I would like to ask you, because listen, there ain't nothing we're doing without force. And when I say force, I mean like even when you focus.
That's why I say light focus. That's why it takes practice. Yep.
Right.
To temper that. Mm-hmm.
I love that. But it seems to me like when you use the word openness, wait, first, because I didn't have my notes open, if you could tell me those 3 converging points again. One was openness.
Yes, openness. And, I might, per your question, try to put some more texture around that too, because it's a little bit.
It's
a little hard to explain.
I was definitely going to circle back to that.
It's hard to explain because it's so simple. But yes, so openness, coupled with directing your attention, so deciding on something to place your attention on, and then light focus. Yes. So open space, directing attention, light focus. It's instantaneous. It is instantaneous. It is. Intuition is instantaneous. And when I say instantaneous, there's some nuance there, right? As in, let's say you try this, and the hypothetical example of let's say it's a guy in a coffee shop, right? So you do this, and you don't notice anything instantaneously. Doesn't mean give up. It doesn't mean you failed. It doesn't mean start, The most important part of these steps is the openness. That is the most important thing. Okay? Because once information, psychic information comes in, it comes in pulses. It mimics a heartbeat. It comes in waves and pulses, right? And so it's instantaneous, and then it's instantaneous, and then it's instantaneous, and then it's instantaneous. Or sometimes it depends on what you are focusing on.
I love that. How, if you were to give someone like a pep talk on openness, because that's such a, I mean, are we talking willingness?
Talking about blank yourself. Blank yourself. Blank yourself. Empty yourself. Can you do that for 1 second? This is why it takes practice.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you, just for a second, it goes hand in hand with lecture I don't remember with this one with the Empress, where we talked about embodying, surrendering, allowing, just being engulfed in to where you are the point, you are the point zero. You're nothing for a second. You are empty, right? You're a space to be filled. And the reason why that's so important is because the information is so subtle. Your mind will, it does all these crazy things.
Yeah.
It'll cut it, it'll burn it, it'll chop it, like in, you know, Raina raised her hand. I love this raising hand thing. This is new. I love it. It's cool.
No, so I have like a bunch of these random notes that I'm like, my mind is still trying to pull together. But based on what Q said, it did make me think. So one of the things I wrote was like, since I'm traveling and I haven't been traveling, it's not like this, in a while. I had different interactions with people and different openness, I guess, with them. I'm just using that word because that's where I would think, but I guess I don't mean it the same way really at that, but, or maybe I do. And so one of the things was like how when I'm meeting people, it's different than when I'm at home, or that I don't meet people when I'm home. So I'm like, the whole question of like, am I different? Are the people here different? Is a combination of both. But I think Q's question really made me think like a big part of it really, at least right now, feels like when I'm in a new place, there's nothing from my mind to hold on to.
Yes.
Always. It's like, I really don't. And I just don't have anything to base. And like, I thought today went well. There were a bunch of things I could have done. I wasn't sure what to do. So I just sort of let it happen because I had like, there was nothing to make anything. There was no pull. There was zero pull towards any space. Whereas if I was home, I like, oh, what's going to take me this long to get? Like there are these things that my mind already
charges. Everything is so charged with past experience
for me. Because I wouldn't have been fully processing. So it just made me think, oh, okay, that's an interesting way. And then I also, it did I don't know, reaffirm, but put more focus on also the openness is also why I meet more people traveling, is because I associate people with a place, with an experience, with whatever. Whereas if I'm meeting people in completely new contexts, I'm not, there's no, my mind is not doing, like, it's not trying to, or maybe it is trying to associate, but it just doesn't. So
you're speaking of something real cool.
You are.
And I want to compound that with a good friend of mine who was able to do something a little bit similar in like identifying where she was applying meaning in dating situations when she was dating 3 people simultaneously, because it was a different place, a different person, a different context, all these new experiences, kind of like it does like it speaks to, like, I can sense the openness she was experiencing at the time. And whereas and I just thought that was interesting. She was just like, I noticed when this guy said this thought will float up, but when the other guy said this, that thought didn't float up. It's just something about that changing things around and being in something new, I'm guessing, that just gave her more space to notice, and be less identified with the thoughts as they were coming in. But that openness deal is like huge. It's huge. And why I think I like movement a lot. Like, movement to me, when things become too referential, like, oh my God, I want to throw up. Like, bro, like, I've seen this movie before. What else we got? You know what I mean? I used to,
No reruns.
yeah, no rerun. Right. I used to kind of slap my hand in the past about this, because it's just like, what is this insatiable need to consume new experiences? Well, I know, that's why I'm here.
Oh.
That's the
Yes.
fuck why I'm here.
No, that's
Good
rich.
stuff.
It is good stuff, because Raina, a light bulb just came on as you were talking. In other words, what I'm placing before us here is, can you provide that context, that experience for yourself, no matter where you are?
Yes, and that's before that I thought about it, but there wasn't like a connector.
Right. Yeah.
It's like this added like connector I wasn't making, because that's someplace else in my head. Can I create that? I'm like,
why we need each other.
yeah, in theory, but I'm like, but where's the bridge? And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yes.
Because it's like becoming less identified with thoughts coming in. That's like literally, like, if I think about, there are moments in this week when I met people, that's exactly what happened. Like, easy, flow. And then something shifted, but I don't really know what. And now I think about it, there was something about them that I like, my thoughts were able to like, oh, got it.
Yeah, like, oh, I got him.
I'm like,
I know this one.
Like, I mean, give a perfect example. I'm like, I have this whole thing about not dating men from New York. I'm just like, ew, gross, no thank you. Like, it's just, I'm not here for that. I'm talking to someone, and I think that's what happened. Like, I disconnected, like disassociated from everything that was happening, which was very in the moment, when somehow in the conversation came, he's from New York, and my brain was like, yeah, no. And I remember thinking the rest of the week wanting to talk to him, but also feeling like, but I was like, I think my mind just grabbed onto that one thing outside of like this being like a new place and a new person and really new experience completely. Like, it found it and was like,
You know who is really good at helping people identify their associations with concepts and past experiences, and then walking you through how to like transform them? You know who's really good at that?
No.
Oh, you can't see what I see. Q
Yeah.
is amazing at that. Yeah. Yeah. You guys, now Keith, you guys.
You've been very helpful.
Yeah. That is, yeah. If you want to go on like a deep dive with stuff like that, how cute. Yeah, that's her forte. Because that's really the meat and bones of a lot of this, is because of the larger context where you had the opportunity to be more present, you could identify like and step back and be like, wait, what is this association I have with New York, or my mind rather, to be more specific, to be more precise, you know? And from there, you got options. You've got options. See how this all, it's just like, basically, how big do you want your life to be, regardless of anything that's going on? Because I tell you right fucking now, you know, like, you could anything could happen, you know, not to be you know, prone to disastrous thinking or anything, or misanthropic, or, you know, pessimistic rather, but, you know, you could be in a situation where you're stuck on a boat for 3 days. Oh my God. And then
Yeah. Yes, you could.
you know, I'm just saying, or worse.
Nothing to latch onto there. Maybe in the future. In that moment, I had nothing.
It can happen. It can happen. Yeah. What do y'all think I mean, or what I'm saying about this quality thing? Because I want to make sure that that shines through. Like, what did y'all take from that when I was talking about, you know, placing much more emphasis and focusing more on the quality of things? What'd that mean to y'all?
It's to me, it's a more refined way of looking at how things are characterized. It speaks to tone to me.
Wow, that's a wonderful word.
In terms of like, is this an elevated tone or a dense tone? I'm thinking very vibratory these days, given the nature of what I'm working on. But to me, when you talk about looking out for the quality of something, it is, what is its essential nature to me? What is the quality of it? Is it is it tense? Is it light? Is it that's how I took it.
Awesome. Awesome. I have a follow-up question then. And then anybody else who wants to, you don't have to, you know, obviously. There's no pressure ever. So could you speak to the differentiation between the essence or the essential qualities of a thing, and then in the now, your perception of the quality, how it's resonating with you in a now moment?
For sure. So there's definitely tiers to it. I mean, I see, like, something can have, you know, I've seen scenarios where people have taken a comment. One can interpret it as snarky, one could not at all. And that's because that layer outside of the core of them, they have this film of expectations. They have this film. it's a lot of referential. That's that layer where all that referential things, especially if it's dominant, you know what I mean, in a person where historically people are being snarky with me. I'm going to assume that person's being snarky. This is a snarky quality to this thing that I'm looking at. You know, it's a lens that someone's looking through. And I always think of it as like a vellum,
Good word.
over a light, you know what I mean, like a film over a light that characterizes it in that way. That's how we're seeing it. I mean, honestly, if we were looking at things purely, would we have anything to say about it? I'm not really sure we would.
Oh my God, that's funny on like so many levels. My brain just exploded a little bit. Like I'm like
I'm not
nerding out on stream. I'm like, oh, do you know?
like you would. I think we would just sit and wonder, or just be in it. I mean, I don't know. I kind of feel like that's what makes us individuals in the first place. These vellum things that we have. But like, I don't know. I think the more we are able to, as you are encouraging us to do, distill our perceptions, the vellum becomes the closest to what the truth is. And maybe if you really want to have fun with it, it can give you a blank space for you to characterize it however you want.
Yes.
Which is my favorite thing to do sometimes when I'm feeling a little petty and someone's trying to use certain language to upset me, and I take flattery in it. I do that all the time. Like, oh.
Oh, well, let me ask you this. What about in the context of choosing a shampoo at Target? This is not meant to be a trick question. I'm sorry.
No, I'm literally walking down the aisle in Target in my head right now. Like,
I'm just teasing you.
Yeah, like what? That's a good question, though. I mean, how much of that is?
Are you with me here? Oh,
yeah. I've never even. My goodness, Nyoka, like I've
implying
never
that you
thought
shop
about
for shampoo at
applying
Target,
something like that to. So you just opened me up right now of all of the different places that I can apply this thing, because
this is what I'm saying, y'all.
Yeah, like that's fucking huge.
That's what I'm saying. The shopping, the acquisition of items. That was the first thing I listed. Like, yo, how precise do you want this to be? Because yeah, you can read the label. You can get a read for the essence that the people who designed and formulated the product.
Learn about the company and the sources of the ingredients
But how precisely right for you is it in that moment? That one bottle. Boink.
Yeah.
How can you turn your shampoo into a part of spiritual motherfucking development? This is multidimensional living. What is ordinary, my friends? It's what you decide it is. Really.
So, because, okay. So when you guys are talking, all I can think was like, Well, everything for me feels like it just boils down to like what satiates me. Like even the shampoo, I'm like, scent, done. Like that, like if I'm satisfied there, everything else kind of will be like, I mean, yeah, I'll make some decisions in there, but like, or
you could have more.
yeah, like,
It's a choice.
yeah, it's like
It's a
pull this.
choice. You could, so
Mhm.
you have, you know, you have your standards, you have your baseline
Mhm.
minimum of satisfaction, which you've identified as scent.
Yeah.
And then if you wanted to, you could consciously involve your intuition. And here's the thing that might happen. And this would be funny. Let's say for some reason you find yourself and you're literally scanning the options like with those 3 steps that happen in unison, and you find yourself reaching for one, and then you flip open the top and you go and you're like, ah,
Yeah.
you don't like the scent of it. What do you do then in this example?
Turn it over and see what's go to option 2.
Mhm.
I'm like,
Yes.
something's gotta be in here that makes sense.
Yes. That's the
Mm.
thing. It's like you the experience, you that's the thing. You could literally plug and chug anything into the answer you want. You could literally, because then see, here's where the conversation goes deeper. Then you could give instead of consciously involving your direction or your intuition and leaving it at that, then you could give your intuition direction. Take it a step further.
I was thinking about that. I was thinking about like, what if I
Tell it what to do.
asked the question and then emptied myself out, directed my attention, and focused lightly. Like
Intuition loves direction.
Ooh.
It loves direction. So if you were like, okay, but give me something just as good for me, but with a smell that I'll like better.
Yeah.
Wash, rinse, repeat. No fucking pun intended.
This is really interesting because I kid you not, this is what I do with food.
Oh.
This is how I treat all my food. This is how I
Really?
decide where to eat. This is how I decide how to eat. I have been with people and they're like, what are we eating? What are we eating? And I'm like, and like, I really just like, and I'm like, okay, I want to eat this, and like, I can come up with the whole thing. But that's really how I eat. Like, I'm very like, I love food, and I'm like, sometimes that always seems to work though. Like, I'm always like, oh, like, but I'm like, what do I want to eat? I'm like, oh no, just chill out. And I'm like, oh, okay, I want this and that and that and that. I'm like, great, done. Let's like, it's kind of funny because that really very clearly is my process for food. So.
Y'all wouldn't be here if you already weren't.
Application, like,
wait, what? We missed.
It's so cool, Raina. Like, I mean, you're so familiar with it in that way, knowing that it has a universal application. It's going to be real fun for you to play around with it.
Yeah.
Much familiarity with it.
Yes.
Because I definitely haven't ever thought about that with anything else. It's just like this thing I do with like food. I'm like, but I haven't actually thought about it in terms of like.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
I didn't actually even think about it as a thing with food. I just know that's what I do with food. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Yes. Y'all wouldn't be here if you already weren't intuitive people.
Facts.
You would not be in my space and me in your space for 20 hours or more than 20 hours if you weren't already highly intuitive people. Okay?
True.
On a physics level, you wouldn't. So, yeah.
True.
Yeah, it was so good to hear.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I was just gonna say your guys' interpretations of that, and it definitely added some texture and layers for me, because when I think of quality, I've been applying it a lot in terms of food and supplements that I've been taking, and like only getting the highest quality stuff to me. So when I think about it, it's kind of in that context and in terms of like, is this giving me vitality, especially long term, or is this like acting as a suppressant or stimulant in some way? And I think I do that a lot with relationships as well. Just the convenience of it, or the, some quality of it, like fast food, a fast fix. So yeah, quality to me is like long-term sustainability and vitality.
I will
So
say I've done that deep dive more recently, which is really funny you said that, with supplements also. I don't know like what in the past couple of months, but it's kind of if you said that you're doing that, because that's what I've done with supplements in the past couple of months. I've been just like
Yeah, it's like nothing else is
exploratory.
worth it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been fun, but it's like a new thing. So I wonder, supplements.
I would add to the conversation that sometimes the truth is that what is most harmonious to what we truly desire in the moment is easy or convenient. It may not
I was also
always
going to
be.
mention that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has me looking at it in a new way for sure.
Yeah, because you can. That's why I'm bringing back up this quality thing, because yes, there is quality in the denotative sense, and in relationship with logic, and even like taste and things like that. But what I'm talking about with this material is something that is 100% individual and relegated to right now. You know what I mean? And so it, as Q said, there's tiers to it, or there's layers to it. Because how do I put it? So there are people who will religiously eat quality, healthy food, live foods, things like that, and religiously take supplements and things like that. But if you looked psychically at what they're actually desiring, it could be a fucking margarita. I'm being funny, but what I'm really, I hope that you understand what I'm saying. I'm saying the truth is the truth, whether it's healthy or unhealthy, whether it's convenient or sustainable. The truth is the truth. You know what I'm saying? And the truth is the only thing that evolves you. That's the only thing that has the power to evolve you.
Yeah, no, it's interesting that you say that though, because while I was talking, I was like, I have been thinking about it in terms of like sustainability and like vitality and all of that, but it's not necessarily true, I guess is what it is. Like, I've had so many fleeting things that have been quality for that time, for that moment. And yeah, I mean, the margarita thing, I definitely got like wasted on Friday, and it was fantastic.
And it was great, right?
So,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It's a balance. Yeah. I'm very aware of that too. So yeah.
Yeah, your heart and your intuition is way better at balance than your mind.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yes.
I keep thinking about this in terms of other people, which I don't really know what the question is around that. It's just that's the question
Mhm.
I ask. It's
Hmm.
like you gave that example of like
Hmm.
seeing someone and like focusing on them, but I'm like, what is, I guess, going back to, I guess the direction of your attention is on them, but like, is it just, I guess I need to find an example because I can't, I'm like not bridging, like, okay, like, yes, it like that all makes sense, but I don't get like,
Why you would do that?
yeah, like,
That's just a practice, because you have to
yeah,
practice
but
it.
just, but like, but there has to be some sort of, or maybe there isn't some sort of, so we're talking about things and stuff and choices that we make in those ways.
Mm-hmm.
But like we make choices in people, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's the question I have is like, we make choices in people, right? Like, does this apply to just the person? Is this kind of an interesting thing about like qualities of a person? Is this like, I don't know. I think I haven't like developed the question enough of myself yet, but I know it's around this.
I think I'm catching your drift, maybe. And if I'm not, you can tell me. So one thing that you can definitely do is you can apply that same example and read a relationship. So not both the people, but the relationship between two people.
Mm.
You can, that's the thing. Nothing would exist. Everything that exists, whether it's tangible or intangible, exists because of its spiritual form. Therefore, nothing is exempt from extracting qualities or information or data about its spiritual form or its essence. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, for example, if you wanted to choose, say you're dating someone new and you use those same 3 steps, and you're instead of directing your focus on something that's visibly in front of you, you direct your intuition essentially and direct your focus to the relationship
That makes sense.
and
Yeah.
notice what, or the person, or, think about it as like gathering the most accurate information that you can so that you can make the most informed decisions that you can make.
Mhm.
Because intuitive information or psychic data is the closest to the truth. It's the most accurate information that we can receive. Yeah. Does that help?
Yeah, it made me think of, well, one lesson she does like 2 of the aura assignments. So one of them a while back was asking someone questions.
Mhm.
Like that. And one of the things I said in my telling was like, one of the thoughts I had was like, oh, it'd be really great. Or I would like to like maybe pick a person and literally, so the questions I had were questions, just so there's context for everybody else, like questions I've been working on because I want to create oracle cards based on questions. But I had this thought like, oh, it'd be interesting to sit and think about questions right before I got on a call with someone. Like, let it just sort of happen.
Ooh.
Like, hey, if they're comfortable, because that was my whole thing afterwards, was like, I want to make people uncomfortable. I don't want like, but I was like, it might be interesting to get on a call with someone and be like, okay, we knew we were gonna have this call. I just took some time to like, I don't know. I guess now I didn't really have a process before. And then show up with like 5 questions and like see where it takes everything after those, like as those questions unfold.
Mhm.
It did make me think like, oh, okay, that's like a tie-in, because that was something I thought about as something I would like to do in some aspects.
Absolutely. Yeah. So like literally utilizing your intuitive faculties to procure questions that are more precise to the person now.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
That's a service to that person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They're on the receiving end of some good shit.
Raina, I love that you brought that up because that was kind of my process too. Like, I actually tried to sit down and think of questions, and I had someone specific in mind for them, but like, it just wasn't working well. And then I was out having dinner, and like, they just flowed to me pretty powerfully, and I was like, oh fuck, like these are potent for self exploration as well, but things like, when's the last time you were courageous, and like when's the last time you felt awe and stuff like that. And it was such a rich conversation.
That's beautiful. Wow, so neat.
Can I squeeze one more question in?
Yeah.
It's kind of like going back to just getting some feedback from you about the last aura I did with the light beam. And in that, like, it was a bizarre concept to me at some point when you were instructing us to draw the energy back in. And it literally was like a foreign concept to me. I've always visualized like almost being like a projector lens, and there's this light coming through and out, but not absorbing, drawing back in. I never saw, I mean, it never, maybe because it just didn't fit the image that I put in place about the way I'm constructed. And I'm curious to know your thoughts about that. I'm still not entirely off the image that I have in my head. It feels to me, I don't know, that feels lack oriented to me. And I'm looking for some, or lack based. So I'm interested in some, what are your thoughts on that?
I'm really glad you brought that up because I almost forgot. I literally, you can't see this because it's blurry. But from the telling, I had things that I wanted just quickly to respond to you guys about, and that was top of the list. Oh, I just forgot. Thank God. Okay. So, numero uno. You are right. We have energy meridians, just as you suspected. One goes up, one goes down. Information goes out, information goes in. When you're doing the laser beam, and what most people don't know is that you can manipulate or project your energy field. So that is what you were pulling back. So think about it like, do you see what I'm saying? See the difference? Think about, so physicalize it as an image in your mind. Think about an egg-shaped field. And you're taking and you're stretching it, and you're projecting it towards something, right? You can do that. Then you bring it back. It's like an extra appendage. You're touching something.
I'm an amoeba.
And then you bring it back. Yes. Prettiest one I ever seen.
Giant.
Yes. So
organism.
Yeah. So does that make more sense now? So it's
like
just
that
a field.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Wow. I was expecting the answer to be like super complicated. No, that was real fucking simple.
I love that.
Makes
Also,
perfect.
you do know that the laser beam was not a part of aura, right? I'm still not sure if you know what aura is, or if you have been actually looking at them.
I thought that was one of them.
No.
Jeez Louise.
You know that they're attached to the email, right? They're in this like.
I know I'm
Oh,
constantly
okay.
like I'm constantly Googling the emails to look at them, but because it's sitting there in the what's the names
Oh, the Telegram.
in the Telegram, because it's
Oh.
pinned in the Telegram, I assumed it was one of them. I
Ah.
was like, do this one. Let me just do this one because this thing's been sitting at the top of Telegram this whole time. Okay. I was assuming there was a corresponding
No.
task in one of the aura cards for it. That's
No.
hilarious. Okay.
That's all right though.
All right. I'm
More
getting it
you
together.
know. More you
Yeah.
know.
Last class, I'll get it together.
Yeah, I mean, thing is like you could do it even after we go away, you know?
Well, never really
Okay.
go.
Yeah, I know. I'm here for the long haul. But okay, so question for everyone. This laser beam, where in on your body are you projecting it out from?
It comes from my heart.
Okay, heart,
Yeah, also heart.
heart, and then
Mine, except for one this week, have always started in my head.
all right, I want you to project it. See, this is really good. This is why this is the first run, and I love y'all. You want to project it from your solar plexus.
Oh shit.
Mm.
Okay.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
So there's that. But yes, you want the center of your being, basically. That's where you want that laser beam to rock it out from.
Okay.
Okay. Another thing, question for all, about laser beam. You know the part where the woman on the recording, I don't know who she is, she says, she's like, okay, let your thoughts zoom. I'm going to stop speaking in third person. That's weird. So let your thoughts zoom and begin essentially, I'm paraphrasing here, begin essentially to notice one and notice them and then select one. So here's what I want to make sure is not happening. Do not go into this with an already preset intention or focus. Don't do that. And two, you want to make sure that you are actually, so materialize it in your mind to picture it. You're sitting here thinking, imagine your thoughts are like literal, like, you know, iMessage text bubbles. So it's like blah, 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 blah. You want to sense which one you're gravitating towards and select that one. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that was a good clarification. Okay, real good.
Right. And okay, we talked about that. You're projecting energy field. Talk about that. So my handwriting is atrocious. Okay. And then Raina. Okay.
Oh my gosh, what?
Oh my God. Okay, I'm going to call you out just like the slightest bit. Like I could.
Oh no.
No, it's not even like that. It's not, it's just, you know, maybe like, you know, Q and Trish might learn from your mistake. So I want to just put it up. Okay. The aura that you did from House 7, excellent selection, by the way. That one was in fact designed for you. The idea per the instructions were to record the audio and talk as if you're talking to the person.
Oh yeah, I don't
potential suitor. You don't have to redo it if you don't want to. But you know, you feel me?
Yeah. You know, it's a little scary.
I know.
I probably would say to another person.
A little radical.
I probably would. It's probably my problem. I'm just out here saying people.
That's fine. I chose it for you, darling. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All optional all the time. Yes. So yes, those are the things on my little list. I know we're a few minutes over, but I need y'all to tell me, just give it to me. Just give it to me straight. Who is 100% sure between now and the 17th that you are going to purchase any replays? Because I need to factor that time to get all of that organized, if so.
I am trying to figure out the money for it, so I would really like to.
How much?
Yeah.
Message me.
Yeah.
I will just send me a message. We'll work it out. Like, we
Okay.
can stretch it out over 6 fucking months. I don't care. You know,
Okay.
like, I don't give a
Yeah.
shit. I just want to know so that I can have it all. You know what I mean? I don't want to like start
Yeah,
organizing it
right.
and then be like, yeah,
It's
never mind.
it's the
you know.
plan. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
just send me a
definitely want
message.
it.
Okay,
Okay, cool.
got it. So I will make sure that
Hi,
all of that.
Stanley.
You says hi, Stanley.
I'm
Oh,
not
you-
sorry, but hello.
Oh,
He's the
that's
blurb.
okay.
But him.
Yes. Ugh,
I
so
love that guy so
I love
much.
him so much. Yes. So, yes, I will have the lot of them, all of them done by the 18th, ready to go to y'all.
Beautiful. Sweet.
Yes. Okay. Oh my God, there's only one more left. I'm gonna cry. Except for I'll see you in October as well.
Yeah,
I
whatever.
know.
Yeah. Yes. All right, you guys. I love you so much.
Bye, Trish. Bye, Raina.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye.